recommended projects from the 13th call for funding request to the International Fund for Cultural Diversity. Item 7. Let me now give the floor to the Secretary. You have the floor, sir. Under Decision 15 IGC 6, the Secretariat launched the 13th call for funding requests in March 2022. At the end of the call, on the 15th of June 2022, the Secretariat had recorded 610 projects from 87 countries, including one country which is not eligible to IFDC funding. Mr. Chairman, honourable members of the committee, dear colleagues, Mr. Secretary, it is my honour today to introduce and present you the results of the assessment of the projects submitted under the 13th call for funding on behalf of the panel of experts which I have been lucky enough to coordinate, and I'd like to thank all for the hard work and fruitful work we conducted. As the Secretary stated, 106 projects were deemed eligible and submitted to the expert panel for assessment. So, this being said, let me now move on to the projects that have been recommended. Following the assessment process that I've just described, and within the bounds of the available funding, 11 projects have been recommended for a total budget of $897,213 under, as I said, Decision 12 IGC 6, paragraph 7. Given the fact that we wish to try and reach as many countries and regions as possible, the expert panel recommends that 84% of the budget request should be allocated to the various projects so that the IFCD can finance 11 projects from 4 regions put forward both by parties and NGOs. Projects now then, which I will introduce briefly. First project, ORIGEN, strengthening the voice of indigenous filmmakers in Argentina. This hopes to offer new opportunities for indigenous filmmakers in Argentina by strengthening their filmmaking capacity, by bringing about the emergence of collective cinematographic collectives made up of indigenous filmmakers and supporting the audiovisual contents of the individual indigenous people. At this point, which means that we will be able to review the various projects and adopt them. For the moment, we're looking at projects and approval of projects. Let me now give the floor to the Secretary to introduce these various projects so that we can, one by one, approve them all. Thank you, sir.
Origin, amplifying the voice of indigenous filmmakers from the National Institute of Indigenous Affairs from Argentina, recommended for an amount of 83,118 US.
Sorry, $83,118 US. Yes, thank you. Can the committee endorse this first project? Yes. No objections. Adopted for recommendation. Second